Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to CUHK Law Directions in Legal Education 2020. Thank you very much for joining us. My name's Stephen Gallagher. I'm the Associate Dean for Teaching and Learning. And I'd just like to say it's wonderful to have so many familiar, friendly faces and so many new faces as well to see at this conference. Shortly, I'll hand you over to the present Dean, Professor Lutz-Christian Wolff, who will give a few words of introduction. And then just after that, I'll give you a couple of points of housekeeping that my colleague Vivian has asked me just to reinforce to everyone about how the proceedings will go on today and how you can go to each of the different sessions. So first of all, let me introduce our Dean, Professor Lutz-Christian Wolff, one of the founding members of the faculty. Professor Wolff.
Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon, everybody. It's my great pleasure to welcome all of you on behalf of CUHK Law to this Directions in Legal Education's 2020 conference. This is indeed our third Directions in Legal Education conference, but it's the first one, of course, held online. All of us at CUHK Law are very proud and grateful that despite the COVID-19 situation, the call for papers has generated so much high-quality submissions, so many high-quality submissions, and so many participants have signed up. Thank you all for joining and for your contributions. A special welcome goes to my predecessor, our former Dean, Professor Christopher Gain, who is joining us from the UK. Hi, Chris. I've counted about 94 speakers for this conference from literally all over the world. In addition, we have over 400 registered participants, and this is, I must say, this is the biggest conference I've ever attended. But of course, the numbers are well justified because legal education is very, very important, in particular these days. We have topics covered, students as producers, diversity in legal education, teaching pedagogy, law and technology, innovative subjects, professionalism and employability, women in law, clinical education, legal education in Hong Kong and in the US, of course, the future of legal education, and last but not least, law teaching in times of crisis. It's rather obvious that all these topics are extremely timely and important. We live in times of tremendous changes. COVID-19 has become the new normal and will unfortunately dictate the way we teach law in the times to come. Legal education has to respond to these developments and actually has responded already. Law and technology is prominently featured in this conference. A lot of legal work, as we know, is nowadays, which was previously done by lawyers, is nowadays done by machines. And again, legal education has to respond to these developments. The legal profession, academia, and also strong voices from outside the profession nowadays demand a more professional, practice-oriented way of teaching law. Again, legal education has to respond by demonstrating if and why lawyers should not just be legal machines, but should be academically trained lawyers in order to be better lawyers. We are seeing major political developments and power struggles worldwide, around the globe, and this challenges legal notions, principles, basic concepts and values, including the rule of law. Again, legal education has to respond. The world is also seeing an unprecedented movement against discrimination and racism. Again, legal education has to respond by asking how the persisting problems can and must be addressed at multiple legal fronts. Other crises, such as climate change, are threatening the existence of the whole planet Earth, and legal education needs to consider what kind of contribution can be made and how we can respond. Many of the resulting challenges, of these challenges which I have just tried to outline, will be addressed over the next 3 days. I trust that everybody is looking forward to exciting presentations, stimulating discussions, and last but not least, the virtual meeting of old and new colleagues and friends. Before I give the floor back to Professor Gallagher, I wish to give my special thanks to all CUHK Law colleagues who have worked very, very hard in order to make such a massive conference happen. Particular thanks go to Professor Michael Lower, the CUHK Law Legal Education Guru, to Professor Steve Gallagher, whom you've already met, our Associate Dean Teaching and Learning, and to Ms. Vivian Chan, who is the good soul behind everything. Once again, many thanks for joining. Particular thanks to the speakers for their presentations. I wish all of us a very meaningful 3 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lutz. And as you say, it's very good to see Chris Gain here again today because, of course, back in 2016, it was he who encouraged me to organise the first one of these Directions in Legal Education conferences with Professor Michael Lauer. And, you know, we hope for success. It was successful, but we could never have envisaged how it's turned out because of everything that's happened this year and how successful it's become. So great to see you again, Chris. I just wanted to remind everyone, of course, we've got these 90 plus panelists who will be presenting. So great things to look forward to. We also have, of course, 3 keynote speakers, and Professor Michael Martinek is with us already. He'll be talking at 5:50 today about, again, one of these recurrent themes about that sort of link between, well, the academic study of law and also the idea of preparing people for law practice as well. I think that's something that comes through in his abstract, and I'm looking forward to hearing that. A number of other, some of my colleagues and other presenters will be talking about that throughout the conference as well. So great things to look forward to.